Hey guys, Chaz here from Elevate Coaching and also UCI Continental Team Skyline. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, a lot of stuff that I do here is I either do training vlogs or sometimes I just do workout videos, like different style workouts you can do on the bike, just to kind of give you something to do and improve your fitness. So one workout I've been doing a lot, well, I haven't been doing it a lot, but I've done it a couple times, and it's a new one for me too. It's called Paceline Tempo. Now this is, all the credit goes to Basecamp. If you guys know Basecamp Cycling or Basecamp Coaching, that is a phenomenal company that I'm coached by. So Tim Cusick is the head master coach there. And anyways, he's in charge of Basecamp, all that cool stuff. But Paceline Tempo is a workout that he's given me, and they've come up with this one. It's a very cool workout just because it can be done on the trainer. Actually, it's designed to be done on the trainer. You can do it outside. It'd be a little bit more tricky to kind of like nail all the different segments you gotta do, but you can do it outside, but it's really good on the trainer. Anyways, before I really dive into just the breakdown of the actual workout, let's just talk a little bit about tempo and how tempo is beneficial, and then we'll jump in. So tempo sometimes gets a bad rap. A lot of people will be like, it's kind of pointless to do because you're kind of in no man's land. You're going a little bit harder than endurance and you're going easier than doing threshold. So you're kind of just not really getting the boost of the endurance and you're not getting a boost to the threshold. So what are you kind of working on? Yes and no. Like, obviously riding tempo all the time is not that beneficial. It can be very fatiguing. And if you don't watch yourself, you can actually push too much and then all of a sudden be like, why am I so wrecked? Why am I not recovering from rides? Like, that's the trap you can get into with tempo. People tend to overdo it because, quite frankly, tempo, you kind of get in a zone. You get in a pacing zone and it feels good. You go fast, but there's a proper way to do it. Now, there are some benefits to doing tempo. One of the benefits is zone 2 work is awesome, but with doing tempo, you tend to recruit slightly more muscle fibers at that intensity because you're putting far more pressure onto the pedals. And on top of that, you're also teaching these muscle fibers to be recruited and to sustain in their functionality and being able to actually just produce power and work efficiently. Another big thing that tempo helps with is fatigue resistance. So an example would be if you do an endurance ride, say it's a 3-hour ride and you do an endurance ride. Well, maybe 2 hours in or 2.5 hours in, then you start doing 30 minutes of tempo. Or maybe you built up to 60 minutes and you do 60 minutes of tempo. That's gonna be huge because now you're gonna be teaching your body to learn how to be more efficient later in rides after so many kilojoules. Because once you start burning a certain number of kilojoules, your body just starts to kind of, make energy in a slightly different way. It's not as efficient as when you started. So that's one cool thing about it, is it will help with fatigue resistance. And lastly, the other thing is it just helps with muscular strength. Like I said, when you're doing endurance, you tend to go just a little bit easier on the pedals. You're not really building strength, but with tempo, you can also do some low cadence work and things like that to really build strength. So at the end of the day, tempo does have its benefits, but again, there's a time and place to do it. Usually, you kind of want to do it during the off season because 1, you're fresh, and 2, that's a good time to spend working on those kinds of things. I mean, it's really hard to be able to go out and just smash tempo rides in the middle of a season because 1, I mean, they're fatiguing. You're gonna incur a higher cost of fatigue for doing tempo compared to zone 2. Plus, you're trying to spend time on other things to get race fast. So a good example would be, for me, I do tempo Right now, because of the high fitness I have, we've built it up to doing 3 times a week. If you don't have a high fitness, which, to be honest, if you're not a professional riding 20 plus hours a week, you probably don't. So you kind of want to work on maybe 2 times. 2 times a week is something you want to look at. But yeah, so now let's just dive into the Paceline Tempo and kind of talk about how that workout is built. And honestly, it's actually super fun. As I stated earlier when we started this video, this is a great workout to do on the trainer. In fact, I think I'm not a huge fan of erg mode, but it's a good workout for erg mode, all right? You can do it without erg mode, but I actually tried it without erg mode. I did just Zwift workout mode without erg mode and just had the resistance set and used gears, and I actually really liked it. I found it, for me, a little bit easier, but you can do it in erg mode, and I think it works really well on that if you're used to that. Now, with the actual structure and the interval length, this is all going to depend on where you're at in your ability to do tempo. So if you've been doing tempo intervals and you're like, yeah, I worked up to being able to do 30 minutes worth of tempo. Well, in that case, you probably want to do 2 sets at probably 15-minute intervals to equal a total of 30 minutes. Hopefully that makes sense. That's how you can kind of base it going forward. Okay, so here's how you want to basically structure the workout. Warm-up is kind of your preference. There's a series of different things you can do. You do high Ks, you do zone 2, whatever you want to do. Anyways, you want to get about 15 to 25 minutes of just basic warm-up. Once you're done with the warm-up, what you're going to do is you're going to now move into the Paceline Tempo, and this is how you're going to build it. Say you're going to do 15 minutes. So you want to do 35 seconds at 80% of your threshold. For me, based off 355, that gives me about 285. So you go 35 seconds there, and then you go 15 seconds at 85% of your threshold. So again, for me, based off 355, puts me around 300 watts. And then you want to go 15 seconds at 335, or not 335, but 95% of your threshold. So for me, that's gonna be 335. That's basically it, but you're gonna repeat that over and over and over until you've reached 15 minutes. So I would say, for me, I was doing a 40-minute set. So I was repeating it 35 times. And then usually do a 5-minute rest. And then you walk into another set. And for that, it was a 50-minute set. And the second set, what you want to do though, is you want to up the actual first portion. So you want to go 45 seconds at 80% of FTP, and then you stick to the 15 seconds at 85% of FTP, and then you do the other 15 seconds at 95% of FTP. That's kind of the basic workout build. This is really good for just, 1, it kind of mimics a breakaway. And then 2, it also helps with just the changing of speed. So it's almost like a little bit of speed work, if you will. It helps with the changing of speed. You're not just in the pocket doing tempo steady, but you're changing it. You're kind of on the lower end of tempo, feeling comfortable, and then you kind of go to the higher end briefly, and then you go basically kind of like sweet spot for 15 seconds, and then you drop back down. And again, that kind of mimics like as if you're in the breakaway, where you're in the draft, drafting, and then you're starting to move up towards the front, and then you take your pull on the front, and then you drop back into the draft, and it kind of mimics that. But again, I would do, say you can go out and you're like, I could do 30 minutes worth of tempo work. I would do the first set at 15 minutes and the second set at 15 minutes. But again, the big difference is going to be the first set, you go 35 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, repeat until the 15 minutes are over. 5-minute rest, and then the second set, you change it slightly and you go 45 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, repeat until that 15-minute set is over. Then after that, if you have time remaining on your ride, just ride at endurance, zone 2. Nothing fancy, just ride 60 to 70%, ride in that range, actually a little less than 70%. You wanna go about 60 to 65%, just kind of ride in that range and just get in the time. That's kind of it. Anyways, this is a really cool workout. Super, super fun. I've done it twice on the trainer because doing it outside can be a little problematic, but if you have anything like the Wahoo or the Garmin that has the workout mode for you, you could probably honestly just follow it along super well. But that's kind of it. So give it a try. Let me know in the comments how you guys liked and enjoyed that. And again, I want to say thank you to Basecamp Coaching, Tim Cusick. He's the one who gave me this workout. I thought it was super cool, so I want to share that with you guys. If you haven't, check out their stuff. I also coach as well with Elevate Coaching. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Keep riding and training hard, and I'll see you guys on the next video.